All right, it's been about a week since, and I agree with you. After the series ended, it wasn't a sweep. I mean, it's a sweep technically, but it didn't feel like a sweep. Now that you've had some time to process and go back and look at it, you feel stronger about that?
Yep. I mean, we went into that series knowing they're in our mindset. Okay, they got one of the highest offenses in the league. They score at high rate. You got to shut that down. And if you take that overtime out, they were 20 shots a game. You said to me, we're going to play them 4 times to get 20 shots. I say we win all 4. Now the overtime in the first game, they got 40. So that's a whole game in itself. So that game wasn't as good. But and we still had a chance to win that game. Plenty of chances. So that's the hard part. You get swept, you think, okay, if you would have said we were going to get swept, I said, well, we gave up 40 shots a night, and that's not what happened. So that's where it's hard. And we create enough offense to score in every game. So I don't know what else we could have done. Yeah, can we have been better here and there? Of course. But we did what we came in to try to do in that series. It just, their goalie was the difference.
Giglio and I have noticed in our years of talking to players and coaches that you remember the losses sometimes a little bit more than you do the wins. And I feel like this one hit a little bit different, especially in the way that you're talking about it now.
Totally. And that's why sometimes you take a step back and then you just got to say, well, that was a hell of a year. Like probably the best year we've had, in my opinion, just what went on during the year. All the stuff that we were able to do. Obviously the Stadium Series game was kind of a capper, but I mean, the winning streaks, we just never really had a couple bad games, and then it was like, that was it. Like, we just kept going. So that's going to be hard to replicate. It's the NHL. I mean, it's hard to do that. So we had a great year. Even the finish, I loved the way we played. We had one bad game in the playoffs, and it wasn't in that series. It was in a different series. So, like I said, again, the hard part, we're going to look back on this, or at least I will, and think, what if we had the right group, meaning our group together, healthy? It's a different story. Now, that's part of it. Injuries are part of it. We've seen it every year, unfortunately. Last year Freddie was not in the games. He wasn't in any of those games. And then the year before, if we forget, Troach and Niederreiter went out. And it's tough to win at that time of year when you're missing pieces. Nobody's playing right now if they have those kind of guys out. That's just the facts.
I'm not going to suggest that you like us better than the media at large, but you seem very perfunctory during the press conference itself. But now your eyes are alive here.
Well, you're asking me the right questions.
Okay.
I'll take that as a compliment.
These questions there's no answers to them. You guys already know the answers that they're asking. And it's a waste of everyone's time for me to just elaborate.
But your eyes are alive.
Yeah.
You're alive.
Yeah.
Can you square this is what I'm getting at. Because I know as a player, you feel like you're in control and you can handle the outcomes, right? Yeah. As a coach, you're such a process guy that I'm wondering if you're going to be able, or how long it'll take you to square this thing and what had happened.
It's over. It's over. Okay. And then you're already looking at, okay, like we're talking about, how do we move forward? Like, what's the next step? Well, the next step is, who do you need to keep? Who do you try to, if there are guys to leave, who are they? You know what I mean? It's all about that to try to replicate or get to the next step. And that's the hard part. The hard part is you bring in players that, they got to take care of themselves, and that's the tricky part, is putting together the team.
Tom was super analytical with us. And is there some solace in the fact that if you did play that thing 1,000 times, maybe you win it 850 out of those 1,000.
We're like the polar opposites.
Okay.
And we both agree to disagree on that. But we try to find common ground. But we're not going to be around it in the 1,000th time that it hits, right?
Right. All right, so this is my favorite game to play with you is Explain Like I'm 5. Okay. The common refrain after the exit was the Canes have to get tougher. Yeah. They need a guy that's more of a past XYZ. The other team is doing the face wash, the extra stuff after the whistle. The Canes don't do that.
That's a good point. Here's the point on that. So we're told that's going to be penalties, going to be called. So we make an effort to refrain from that because they're supposed to call it, but it's 5 years of it and they haven't.
Yeah,
so I would say,
in the playoffs that stuff goes out the window.
We were told too, same thing.
Okay.
Come to the bench and say you're not going to do it, and then Like that's frustrating. Then so if it's not going to be, then you have to readjust probably how you approach it, and we'll see how we move forward on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I guess in another way, are you capable? Are your players capable of doing that? I guess that's the question.
It's phony toughness. There's no
Okay.
fighting. There's zero fighting. When was the last time you
there's
saw
not.
a fight in the playoffs? It's not about that. It's about trying to do it right and try to stick with the rules that you're being told to draw the penalty that you're supposed to have and take the punch to the face that you tell your players to do because they're going to get it. Now we take advantage of it. If it's not going to be called, then you're going to have to do it too, which just is. That just slows the game down and everything else. But that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. Anybody's capable of doing that. That's easy. That's the phony toughness part is easy.
Okay.
When you actually have to back it up, that's when it gets a little tougher.
In the immortal words of Cat Barber, that's the rah-rah fake tough.
Yeah.
Don't give me any of this rah-rah fake stuff.
Just watch it. They're not. Nobody's fighting. Those
They're
guys
smiling half the time.
They know that you're not going to take the extra step to drop a glove because then guess who's going down like they've been shot, right? The guys that start all that. Well, we almost saw it in the playoffs where it happened behind the net with Brent Burns did a little and the guy went down. The same guy that's absolutely doing it, just looking at the ref trying to sell calls. Like that's where this game has gotten to. That's a whole nother issue.
Okay.
The selling of stuff, like we're turning into soccer in some of this stuff, and we can't have that.
You said it. You want to be judged by the team you put together, how you coach them, how you lead them, right? But it does feel like this year in particular, you pick up Patches for a specific reason to be a scorer and a difference maker in the playoffs. Obviously, Andre and the long-term deal that you guys, the commitment that you made to him, shows what you think of him. Is it hard now in year 5 to think that you really haven't had a square look at this thing with a healthy
Another good question.
group for you to sit here and go, okay, well, judge me based on this, not, or is that too much of a?
No, you're hitting it around. You guys are on the right track of where this should have been, in my opinion, gone. Not, you guys lost in 4, you're no good. That's the narrative that was getting thrown out. This is more where it should be. And yeah, I mean, I'm with you on, man, I wish we could have had all these pieces together. But you can't dwell on that. I look at the positive that last summer we said we needed a need. We got to get goal scoring. They went out and got the best guy in the market. At the time, that was the best guy by far. Perfect. Well, it didn't work. Not because we didn't try, because now what are we going to, we'll have our meetings, it's okay, and we'll see. So I'm on the other side of it. It's a positive thing because we are trying to address whatever it is that we feel we got to do to get over the hump. Okay. And we've pretty much done it every year. We've tried to add that piece, and it just hasn't hit in the playoffs because of really just unfortunate stuff.
We'll close on this. Jordan Stahl's an unrestricted free agent. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He's part of that leadership group. What are your conversations? What are they like? What are they going to be like in that you have the older player and younger guys coming up who also might find themselves in leadership positions?
You don't know anything about this.
You don't know anything about this, Rod. So what kind of conversations do you have with Jordan about
We already had it. We've had him all year. Okay. I had him at the end of the year already with him. This is easy.
Okay.
You know, like he's not going anywhere. Is he gonna have to bend a little? Are we gonna have to bend? Someone has to do a little something there to just actually be done with it. Mm-hmm. But that's, he's our guy. He's still, for me, there's zero drop off. He's been if there's anyone that just keeps playing the exact same way, just plowing through, it's him. Mm-hmm. And so that one's easy. So the other guys have sometimes tougher questions because they are different spots in their careers.
Sure.
But he's made his money. This is his team. He's not going anywhere.
He's got other goals he wants to hit.
Yeah, and so there are different pressures on other guys, no doubt. And that's the hard part. They get agents involved who have no emotional attachment, and they know what they can get here. And then I've seen it happen time and again. It's happened every year. We've lost a player to bigger money who calls us back 2 months later and goes, why did I do that? But it's this is the nature of the game right now. And I can't blame players for doing that because at the end, when it's all over, what do they have? They have what they put in their pocket to go on. So
He lied. We got one more question. Your work ethic is legendary. How many days off as a coach do you take?
I don't know what a day off really means anymore. Because even when I don't come into the rink, you're on your computer or you're on a phone. Yeah. So now it's become who are you calling? you know, and then you're never really off. But that's actually how I like it. I feel like if I can't. No, I like taking days away, but still being able to get something accomplished. So.
I understand there might be a Hazen Tree match with Sidney Lowe as well in the
Well,
works.
he's ducking me like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, I heard you take strokes,
really,
though. I heard you're taking strokes.
No, he's trying to get him, and I won't give him to him. And then he's starting to put in the age factors. I mean, we're getting old, but he's a little older than me. And I mean, let's get it straight. If you get ever talking to him, he's ducking me like you wouldn't believe.
Hey, we have summer content. We got summer content. We'll make this work.
He told me. I said, all right.
All right. There's zero chance he's beating me, though. Zero.